SexyHackers.com.
Warning. Do not read this book straight through from beginning to end. These pages contain many different adventures that you have when a scientific genius lets you test his latest invention, the Superbike. From time to time as you read along, you'll have a chance to make a choice. After you make your decision, follow the instructions to find out what happens to you next. On the Superbike, you may have a chance to win a cross-country bike race and become rich and famous. Be careful. There are people out there who would like to get their hands on the Superbike. Any way they can. Good luck.
SexyHackers.com.
Life is like a story with many paths to choose. I gotta get some good friends to help me make it through. So here's the plan. Just take my hand, the adventure's just begun. And all we have to do is turn to page fun.
And hello and welcome to Turn to Page Fun, the only podcast where I, your host, Nick Fuhrer, read through a bunch of game books, most popularly like Choose Your Own Adventure, with a panel of my very funny friends and other Milwaukee so-and-sos, and we review them and comment on them. An idea that is so good, I immediately stole it from my partner and froze her out of the production process. This week, we are reading Superbike by Edward Packard, copyright 1992, Edward Packard and Bantam Books. And with me this week, all the way over on my left, I have a musician and improviser,
sure,
and writer.
Yeah.
And agreement enthusiast.
Zubik enthusiast.
Zubik enthusiast.
That's right.
Man who agrees to his own credits, Mr. Brian Bear.
Hello.
Hello, Brian. How are you this week?
Oh, I'm good. I'm ready to just get back on the Superbike and win this race, because it says we can win the race.
We can win the race.
But it's
on the Superbike.
It hard.
It's not easy.
It's not easy. Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good. Things are still, we're all still here and alive, probably.
Yes, probably. Over on my right, another person who's alive.
I sure am, Nick. I sure am.
I have a comedian, mad scientist, English tutor, and person who breathes, Miss Stacy Pawlowski.
Hope to still be breathing by the time this airs.
Yes.
I am hoping for a more dramatic ending, because it's our last chance.
Yeah.
And the only two endings we had were pretty late.
Yeah. You kind of just ease through.
We didn't blow up.
No.
We didn't die.
No.
We didn't get sent to fat camp.
No.
No prison term.
No,
nothing.
Nothing's happened bad to you so far. You just kind of exist.
Riding that bike.
Riding a bike.
It's almost like life is just making it really easy for you for some reason.
And finally, over on my left, I have improviser and comedian and employee of an escape room.
Oh, yeah. I'm curious about that.
Mr. Brian Green.
Hey, that's the crowd going mad.
So
that's him breathing in a mic. You got asthma. Them Newports got it.
How you doing, Brian?
I'm good. I'm good since I won the lottery last week.
Oh,
you guys didn't know that.
Wow. Hey, Brian, can I have some money?
Yeah, sure. I'm buying me a Superbike, and I'm gonna start giving you guys money right after that.
Thanks.
I love this outcome.
Somebody reads this book, they win the lottery, and then they spend all the money trying to develop an air magnet.
Everyone's like, you've developed an air mattress? No, magnet.
No, I need an air magnet. That will not exist. It's like, no, it's in a book.
How are you gonna get it from place to place in an airport, though?
Yeah.
Why you fly the bike?
Go through security.
You better fly on this fucking bike.
We determined that this bike does indeed fly, other than the cover.
No, there's nothing in this book that's happened so far that your bike is actually flown.
Don't tease us like that, Packard. Edward Packard,
he is.
you son of
Edward kind of fucking lazy. If
You know, though, we have come across illustrators who clearly didn't read the book.
Yes, we have.
But it does not match up with the story. There's like anachronisms. And it's like, wait, where? What? In time
my favorite picture was the night basket picture.
Yes,
where we were in ancient China, and a guard yelling at us had a gun holster
and wearing khakis. What? He's wearing khakis.
He's wearing khakis
and wearing
on them big cell phones.
Yeah, exactly.
So sometimes the illustrators don't take too much time. To understand what this book is.
This kid clearly hit a bird.
Well, I thought it was more that he sees the bird. He's like, whoa.
You see these feathers flying off this bird, and he on that bike, and is that a contrail shooting out behind him?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. It looks like there's jets coming out of the back of it.
There is. You should see the cover.
Well,
judge a book by its cover. Yeah. Is what should be.
So as you can see, there's jets coming out of the back of it. You're clearly flying. None of that's happened so far in Edward Packard.
Maybe we're going to get an upgrade.
Superbike. But what has happened is you found a wallet in a movie theater. You returned that wallet. It belonged to a scientist who just decided because you returned the wallet, you were trustworthy enough to give his only prototype of this air magnet on a Superbike. Because who better than a child to test out your
It's not how scientific research works at all.
Scientific invention. Yes. A child you don't know.
Yep.
And then we decided that we weren't going to brag it to our friends, but instead going to enter the bike into a very public bike race.
Did he actually lose his wallet, or did he drop it looking for an honest person?
I think he was dropping it looking for an honest person.
Think it was
he had wallets all over the city. Yeah.
He's got some straight cash.
He's like Mr. Glass, but with Superbikes, just looking for his. No, okay.
I don't. But why leave the mathematical formula in the wallet then?
I don't. Yeah.
That was just a ruse.
It was just a ruse.
That was his phone number, and he knew it. That was all it was.
Look at all these numbers.
Maybe somebody will call me.
There's 10 of them.
And think I'm going to my laboratory.
So we got the Superbike. Now we're trying it out in the New Hampshire, the Tour New England, which is a little short race that happens right before the Tour America.
Which, considering how much trouble we've been having in this dinky-ass little tour, we're not going to make it.
We will not.
The Tour of America. This is all highway.
Yeah. So in the Tour of New England, we've had to wait out a storm. And so now we're back on the road, but the storm washed away all the markers. And so we decided to just go right at a crossroads. So we're going to see what happens in this Tour of New England on the Superbike after we just choose a direction.
Turn to the right. Dun, dun.
Air magnet.
You turn right and start pedaling, shifting smoothly as you pick up speed.
Click, click.
A couple of miles down the road, you see a sign that says Main Border 87 miles. You're relieved to see that you're on the right road.
Okay. And you think, wow, 87 more fucking miles. Woo, great. Let's do this. I'll be there in a year.
Each time you go over the crest of a hill, you look for any bikers ahead of you. You don't see anyone for a while, but you know you must be gaining.
So you switch on the fucking air magnet.
The Superbike is really flying. Finally, you pass one biker. Then about a mile from the finish line, you pass another. You know that Pete Gregory, one of the top bikers in the world, is still ahead of you. But you're not too worried. Pete is a terrific competitor, but you've got a Superbike.
Cheating. You're cheating. You're cheating.
A few minutes later, on the curving downside of a long hill, you whip by him at 40 miles an hour. You'd like to look back and see the look of astonishment on his face, but you don't dare. It's getting darker by the minute, and you have to keep your eyes on the road. A spill at this speed could be fatal.
It won't be.
Ears open.
It definitely won't be.
You can have lights on your bike.
Darkness creeps over the countryside, but all you have to do now is maintain your lead. You practically coast the rest of the way. There's no way Pete can catch you now.
Suck it, Pete.
At 9:27, as the last bit of twilight is fading from the sky, you cross the finish line amid cheers from the onlookers lining the road. What kind of day is that for somebody?
You got a light.
Still Newports.
Oh, we better go to that finish line. The bike race is ended soon.
Sure.
Let's go get a lobster roll. And,
Stephen King's going to be
I
there.
thought he was reading it, dude.
At 9:27, as the last bit of twilight is fading, we already read that. You hop off your bike and receive the handshake of the chief judge of the race.
Chief judge.
Someone comes up and gives you water and a blanket. Reporters crowd around you.
Stay close to that fucking bike, kid.
One of the reporters pulls out a shiv.
No.
You could hardly believe it. You've won the Tour New England trophy and $10,000 prize that goes with it.
Yeah.
And you've got a good shot at the Tour of America coming up next month. You pat the bike that took you through 5 states in a single day.
It explodes.
Kapow!
It's a Superbike, all right.
The next
We
page.
need those 3 words on that one page.
Really needed those 3
end.
words on that one page. When you get home, you stop by Dr. Kepler's house
Oh, finally.
to give your report on his invention.
I got
He's
10
dead.
G's, bitch. You ain't getting none. Keep your little 300, fucker.
You can't wait to tell him how well it worked. He beckons you into his study and offers you a glass of iced tea.
Oh, no. It's boy. Don't
Is
drink
this
it.
making you sleepy? You were sleepy when you got here.
He listens intently as you describe the race, especially when you tell him how you overtook some of the world's top racers, even after having slept half the afternoon and been delayed in a storm. Very good, he keeps saying as you talk. When you've finished, he says, the air magnet has performed exactly as I hoped. If you're willing to take some risk, there's a chance your Superbike will do something even more spectacular. Oh,
Like fucking fly.
more spectacular than winning a bike trophy? What's that? Simply this, my young friend. The air magnet diverts the air in the bike's path, greatly reducing air friction as you move. Suppose you had a more powerful magnet and you trained it straight up. You don't understand what he's getting at. What would you do? What would that do? Don't you
Yes,
see?
German too. Wait, what?
Yeah, sorry, that's you saying that. It doesn't say who says it. Oh, what would that do? There you go.
Thanks.
Don't you see? It would reduce air pressure above you. That's exactly what happens on the wings of a plane. You'll have a flying bike.
Oh, snap!
About damn time.
About damn time. The
You
bike flies.
cheating motherfucker. Good for you.
I have access to rocket technology from my family. Don't worry about their names. Erne van Braun.
You see, Kepler says, air pressure at sea level is about 15 pounds per cubic inch. 15 pounds per cubic inch.
Episode title confirmed.
That's like 45 pounds for me per cubic inch. Hell yeah, yo. I'm rocking that bike.
Let's suppose that you and the bike together weigh about 105 pounds. 15 times 7 equals 105. Remove 7 cubic inches of air pressure above you, and you are weightless.
Definitely weightless. Yeah. Definitely weightless. Weightless.
Vision of millions of bicyclists soaring over the countryside fills your mind. It seems impossible. Still, you'd once have thought winning the Tour of New England would be impossible too. You don't believe it would work, do you?
No, that's why I told you.
Yes.
That's exactly why I told you, because I don't believe it.
Well, trust me, it will. But it will take time to develop this technology. It sure would save a lot of energy if everyone had an air magnet, you say.
Said older butters.
Kepler nods his head vigorously. Brian finds out my secret. That's all you are, is you're just older butters. Kepler nods his head vigorously. That's one of my most important goals, he says. Look, you've proven your mettle with the Superbike. Would you like to be the first to try the flying bike?
It's a super duper bike.
You're about to answer with a hearty yes, but Dr. Kepler is shaking his head. No, this is ridiculous, he says. I should get a professional test pilot.
Okay,
this
that's true.
experiment is much too dangerous for an amateur.
Very true.
You think about it. It does sound a little risky. But if things go well, your name will probably go down in history.
You're gonna hit a bird.
If you ask Dr. Kepler to let you test the flying bike, turn to page 112. If you decide it's too risky, turn to page 99.
We
Not a
have
chance.
to.
Yeah, we're getting on this
You
fucking
don't get
flying
on
bike.
that bike, you are a straight pussy. Sorry, you just got more bitch than man in your system. You run on bitch.
Running on bitch, running on.
Get your ass on that bike and fly.
Yeah.
It shouldn't even be a question. That should just be like, yeah, we gonna fly, but where to?
I believe
That would
it's
be
time
your
for me to
choice.
fly.
All right.
I believe I can fly. Speaking of which, I gotta pee.
So we're going to find out what happens when we decide to ask Dr. Kepler to let us fly his flying bike.
I'm not going to ask. I'm going to be like, get me on that fucking flying bike. Doc.
Drag me all over the United States. I rode through 5 fucking states on the ground. And it could have been flying. You motherfucker, you knew you had that tech when I left. Fuck is wrong with you, Kepler? You little bitch. We're gonna bust this laboratory fighting, punk.
We're going to find out what happens when we take this flying bike after this quick word from our sponsors.
SexyHackers.com.
Today's episode of Turn to Page Fun is brought to you by Flying Bikes. Flying Bikes. It's about goddamn time we got on a flying bike. I mean, it's 2020. Come on. Jeez. Flying Bikes.
SexyHackers.com.
And we're back to Turn to Page Fun. We are currently reading Superbike by Edward Packard, where we found a wallet. We returned it to a scientist. He gave us a bike. We went a ways with that bike. And then he finally reveals that he can make the bike fly after months of having this bike.
Fucking tease.
It's the technologies that I
Just dragging this out for this poor kid.
So after we won a race and $10,000, we went back to the scientist and he tells us that he
Cheated, cough, cough. Cheated, cough, cough.
Now we can cheat even more.
We could cheat at a higher altitude. Let's see how dizzy you get without an oxygen tank, kid.
Oh.
And so we've decided that we were going to ask him to let us test his flying bike.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You begged Dr. Kepler to let you...
Sorry.
What?
Beg.
Yeah, you begged Dr. Kepler to let you be the first to test the flying bike.
Can I fly it now? Can I fly it now? Can I fly it now? How about now? Can I
And
fly it
you
now?
finally convinced him to let you try.
Oh, for fuck's sake, child, get on the bike!
Again, no waivers.
3 weeks later, you return to his lab, and he attaches a different air magnet to your bike. Please, he says, it's the first time you use it. Be very careful, and be sure to try it out where no one can see you. I want to keep my invention a secret until it's perfected.
There's lots of birds.
Give it to that kid.
Sure thing, you say. Early, the next Saturday morning, you hop on your Superbike and head out of town. It doesn't take you long to find the right spot for your experiment. A lonely pasture shielded from the road by a strip of woods. The whole area is completely deserted except for a few cows. You wheel the Superbike to the center of the pasture. Then you sit on it and turn the knob on the air magnet. You hear a hiss.
Oh, yes.
And feel a rush of air flowing around your feet. But you remain firmly on the ground.
Fuck, I'm disappointed.
Frustrated, you crank the knob as far as it goes.
Oh, dude.
Don't do it.
A great roar of wind rushes toward the ground, and you and the bike sail into the air, higher and higher. You panic and reverse the lever. The next moment, you're plummeting toward Earth.
Plummeting's not a good word.
Plummeting.
The farmer who finds your body never figures out how you could have had a biking accident in the middle of a pasture. The
Packard, you son of a bitch.
Fuck.
Whoops.
Don't even give us the...
Oh, man. When he said plummeting, Nick is fucking with me so hard right now. That is not how that ended.
I
No.
can see the end from here, and it doesn't show our
Oh,
corpse
my
to its
fuck.
credit.
I
but,
thought he just made it up.
oh no, yeah, we're dead.
No,
Hey,
that's
we
how-
died at least.
We died.
We died.
We died trying to fly this bike.
I think that he should have had the cows eat you.
Well, and
You got a flying bike. It's
You think
carnivorous cows. Fuck
Kepler
that.
would have at least wanted to watch this happen and like take notes or
No,
something.
no. Just go.
go.
Fly
Then
I
your
guess he's a
bike
witness and he's
get
dead.
back
Now
to
this
me.
farmer found a flying bike in his pasture.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, but
Also, there's going to be a murder investigation. I don't care if the farmer
it's going to
figured
take
it
the
out.
cops an hour to get out there wherever they are. It's going to be an hour from now, so fuck that.
Yeah, so that's definitely a way that this book could have ended.
Oh, how far do we go back?
I mean, if we refuse to, maybe he'll still give us a chance to fly the bike.
Yeah, maybe try to.
Or do we like go left?
I want to explore this flying bike now that it's an option.
Okay.
You want to? Okay.
I feel like, I mean, if anyone else wants to, try the race the other way or
No, we
anything,
could probably go back again anyway.
go back
so.
to see what happens if we were like, oh, if we bitch out.
If we get a professional.
right, and then he tests it, and then
And
we
he
get to
dies.
fly it. Right, let him die. Then we'll. Also, we like cranked it. We weren't patient.
No, we did bad
I
things.
think everybody that flies that bike is going to die.
Yeah,
I mean,
It's like
only
the carry
fair.
of bikes.
yeah.
It
Stephen
is
King was
Stephen
here
King.
after all.
You got the world's greatest bike rider on the ground. Is he the best bike pilot? I don't know.
Yeah, it's you need like Hal Jordan or what's her name?
Wait, let me see what kind of tennis shoes this kid's wearing. See if they was out in '92.
That
They
accurate?
look like some. Well, they look kind of like Converse.
You think it'd
check
be
'em.
PF Flyers?
Oh yeah.
They look like.
Oh yeah, they got stars on them. Yeah, they look like Converse. They look like the mole's
Those
chunky
one
high
stars.
tops, man.
Yep. Plus, I think there might be some of that bird's blood on it.
Yeah, we didn't even hit a single bird.
No, no, you didn't. All right.
bird
So
flew
are
into
we
the
gonna?
intake.
Are we gonna? Let's go and see what happens if we don't want to
Pretend
fly. right?
Let someone else test it.
Yeah. Okay.
They got a flying bike now.
Yeah.
That's the outcome.
Well, and they're dead.
I
in the
know.
field.
Have your bike.
This picture of this kid riding the bike like this has been on like 27 different
Right.
pages.
It's been in like every page.
Every time he's
Yep.
riding the bike, it's that picture.
In biking shorts, but he's got blue jeans on the front.
Well, it hasn't had a flying bike yet. All right.
He's flying on the bike in blue jeans. What are you talking about?
No thanks, Dr. Kepler, you say. I want to enter the Tour of America with the Superbike.
Oh yeah, you straight up missed the tour last time.
I'll be as happy as a person can be if I win that race. So I don't think I'd better risk my life as a test pilot.
He said gender non-specifically. A person.
You continue training for the Tour of America. You take your bike up the steepest hills you can find and improve your strength and stamina.
You're running up and carrying it.
You practice shifting until you can accelerate and slow down as gracefully as a gull. You study your maps.
Anybody ever see a
study
bird ride a bike? How many girls have you seen on a bike switching gears, Ed? I am doubting the veracity of that statement.
I am also disappointed that he is just not separately researching the flying bike technology. I didn't tell him not to make the fucking flying bike. I just said I wasn't going to get on it. God damn it, Kepler.
You study your maps so you'll be sure never
Oh,
to take
good.
a wrong turn.
In the air.
You realize, wait a minute, there's nothing on this fucking map.
Oh, man. The race begins on July 1st near West 72nd Street on Central Park Drive in New York City. It's only 7 a.m. when you arrive at the starting line, but the park is crowded with onlookers. Only 300 bikers have qualified for this grueling race, and you're proud to be one of them. All right, how?
Okay. When did he qualify?
I guess when he won
Lap or something? The New
The
England.
Other race?
$10,000 that qualified him?
The New
Yeah,
England, maybe?
Well, he has $10,000.
Is
So I
this
guess
in that same like time universe? Is this in the same universe?
Yes.
Is,
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
The same, all right, it's the same Bills and universe. All right,
We
cool.
won the,
Yeah,
So,
so
he
we
won
won
that,
the-
and now he's got an automatic.
yeah,
He's got an automatic spot in the top 300 in the world
yeah.
with his flying, cheating, fucking ass.
You're wearing a small, streamlined backpack that contains a rain slicker, slacks, sunblock, mosquito repellent, and a toothbrush.
Nuts and raisins.
You're
Nuts and raisins for days.
Keep your regular.
Your water bottles are full. Your bike is clean and in perfect condition.
And no one knows that it can fly.
TV cameras are lined up on the scene, and the mayor of the city is on hand to fire the starting pistol. The Parks Department band plays the Star Spangled Banner.
Yeah, here they're going to hold that thing sideways.
Give me that bike, bitch. I ain't the starter.
The crowd cheers and the race begins.
Cheer.
You manage to stay out of the crush crossing the starting line. Your main concern is to avoid collision during the crowded start of the race. You pedal easily along the near middle of the pack as you and the other racers circle Central Park, then head toward Riverside Drive and the George Washington Bridge. You cross the bridge about 30th in the race. You're not too much of a hurry yet.
You got all of America to cross.
The few miles are for warming up and getting the kinks out of your legs. Once across the bridge and into New Jersey, you really let loose.
That's when shit gets real.
Bullets fly at you.
You shift into high gear and turn your air magnet on full force.
Oh.
As you speed along the special lane reserved for the race, you pass one biker after another. About midway across New Jersey, you break your personal record for speed on level ground, reaching an amazing 57 miles per hour.
88 miles an hour and we'll go back in time.
Protagonist, you gotta go back.
Doc Brown just had a stroke.
Then you ease off a little. Though your bike has the best tires and the best balance of any in the world, there's always a risk of an accident at high speed.
You are using too many superlatives, Ed. The fuck, bro.
You cruise along at about 35 miles per hour, which should still be fast enough to catch the leaders. Within half an hour, you've moved up to the number 2 position. A few minutes later, you came in sight of the bridge across the Delaware River. Halfway over it, you spot Pierre LeBeau.
Oh, shit.
Suddenly his bike takes off in the
air. Theme music.
The greatest biker in the world. The only one still ahead of you. Well, you think, he beat me into Pennsylvania, but he won't beat me to Colorado.
Just then, he adjusts his bike and it takes off in the air.
The turrets come up and the 40 calibers shoot out of the back.
After you cross the bridge, you apply more speed. Within a few minutes, you pass LeBeau.
More speed.
You hear a helicopter buzzing overhead. You glance up, and some people in the helicopter wave to you. 2 cameras are trained on you, and you realize that millions of people have probably just watched you take the lead.
Yeah, no shit, kid.
Cheating fucker.
Good going, Superbike, you say with a grin.
Jeez.
Thank you, Michael.
They are encouraging. This is like steroid use.
Yeah.
Shit eater. Ugh.
For the bike.
Yeah.
Then you look over your shoulder to see how far back LeBeau is. To your surprise, you're staring right into his face.
On your ass.
Fuck your back.
After you pass him, he slid in close behind you. You immediately speed up, reaching 40, then 55 miles per hour. LeBeau hangs in behind you, keeping himself in your wind shadow. He may be the only biker in the world who could do it, but he's strong and skillful enough to stay only inches behind you. As a result, he's not getting any more wind resistance than you are with your air magnet. Mile after mile, whether you speed up or slow down,
You are now an
LeBeau
air magnet.
continues to shadow you.
Hit the brakes and let him fly
Yeah.
over you.
At one point, you slow to only 20 miles per hour, hoping LeBeau will pass you. If he does, you figure you can zip by so fast, he won't be able to get in behind you again. But LeBeau doesn't fall for this ruse. He slows down and stays right behind you.
Oh.
That's what you get, you shit.
Cheating little fucker. How you like it now?
He's betting $1 on The Price is Right. Just sneaking right under there.
I will bet $1.
If somebody bid $1 over me and they won, they'd have to walk past me, and that would probably be a problem for them.
My favorite is like when the dude is like second and he bids $1, and you're like, you.
Yeah.
Because it happens. That's
Right,
how
you have
dumb they
no-
are. It's
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
I'll bid 500, Bob. I'll bid $1. And he's got like 2 people passing him. Like, guy at the end is like,
Then
I'll bid $2.
Yes.
Actual retail price $10,000. You dollar bidding stupid fuck. But you get this bike as a consolation prize.
A new bike.
LeBeau is really getting on your nerves. But there's nothing you can do about it.
Your ass.
You wonder if he's planning to stick you in your wind shadow all the way across to Colorado.
Rip
That
ass,
just
man.
sounds
Just
horrifying.
No biking is allowed between sunset and sunrise, so you can't even scheme to be up and off ahead of him in the morning. Well, you think, if he does keep this up.
Everything is a scheme with this cheating ass child.
Yes.
or just sleep in and let him. What is he going to stand there watching you sleep?
Yes.
Yes.
I was watching you slumber.
Sweet
It will
dreams.
still only get him in second place. LeBeau must have guessed what you were thinking because he says, "Don't worry, I won't be following you all the way across the country." "Oh, that's good to know," you say over your shoulder. "When we reach the Rocky Mountains," he says, "I'll leave you behind." A shiver goes up your spine. You dread those long, steep climbs through the mountains. It's impossible to travel more than 5 or 10 miles per hour up some of those grades. Suddenly, you realize what LeBeau's strategy is. Wind resistance is no longer a factor when going uphill. Pierre, who is much stronger and more experienced than you are, will be able to outpace you on the reaches of the Rockies.
He's mentioned that before.
You've got to build up a big lead before then. Otherwise, you practically lost the race already.
If only your bike could fly.
All day, LeBeau follows you up and down the rolling, curving highways of Pennsylvania. Whenever you stop for a break, he stops too. And no matter how fast you get back on your bike, he's on his just as fast and back in your wind shadow.
I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you.
swerving back
I'm
and
not
forth.
touching you.
I'm not touching
I'm
you.
not touching you.
Or just turn off the freaking air magnet and let him. I guess he's still hiding.
Fly the goddamn bike, you cheating little fuck. You know you're going to do it.
The afternoon and early evening wear on. Soon it will be 9 p.m. and racing will be over for the day. That's all right with you. You're tired and cramped from a full day of hard riding. About 8:30, you check into a hostel for the night. And LeBeau checks in right behind you.
Oh, see, he'd get punched now. This is just damn dick.
You lay down in the cot. He lays down in the cot next to you.
He follows you on Twitter. He follows you in your house.
He ats you.
LeBeau.
The next day, LeBeau shoves off at sunrise. You start soon afterward. Again, you pass him. And again, he slips into your wind shadow.
Don't.
The whole day passes, and you still haven't been able to shake him. And again, you both check into the same hostel, this time in Indiana.
Oh.
You know LeBeau will be shadowing you the following day, too.
Go through Gary.
That night,
Yeah, LeBeau. See if you come out with your bike.
that night, you try to decide how to deal with it. An idea comes to you as you look over your maps. This is going on forever.
LeBeau.
Let me just take a quick look ahead.
Oh, we don't even have a choice yet.
No, we haven't had a choice. Okay, cool.
All right.
In Illinois, which you should reach early in the morning,
Big ups.
the road forks. Bikers can either take the southern fork or the northern fork. The two come together again about 100 miles later, just east of the Mississippi River. The southern route is about 20 miles shorter, so naturally LeBeau will be expecting you to take it. If you turn north at the last second, he might be fooled and veer south. Then,
Yeah, because he
if
couldn't
you
hit his own brakes and follow you.
accelerate quickly, he won't be able to get back into your wind shadow, even if he turns to follow you on the North Fork.
This fucking guy says wind shadow one more time. I'm telling you now.
Give me your bike's name.
I'm
Wind
telling
Shadow.
you now.
Code name Wind Shadow.
The only problem is that if you take the longer route, you'll have to bike a lot faster than LeBeau does on the shorter one. Otherwise, he'll reach the Mississippi ahead of you, and you'll be right back where you started.
And then you get
In his wind shadow.
Exactly.
No shit.
Yeah.
If you try to shake LeBeau by taking the longer route, turn to page 108. If you stick to the shorter route, turn to page 114.
You might not necessarily, it's not like it's a given that you're going to shake him if you go the longer route. So
Or
just go the
He
shorter.
could be like guessing you, thinking that you are going to. He's
Shake
like
him.
outthinking you.
Yeah.
Thinking, well, he will expect me to be going the southern route.
We are giving awfully a lot of credit to two stupid people to begin with.
He is not Sicilian, so at least you have that.
I was thinking shorter out too.
Shorter out, just go for it.
Just
Yeah.
cause. I mean, you know.
Okay. I gotta find it now.
'Cause- Yeah, northern, it just, I don't know. I feel like he's not going to
Really,
be that.
none of you want to shake LeBeau. Like, we've gone over like 4 pages of how we're not going to be able to shake him. And,
We said shorter route.
Okay.
Well, this is not a given. What if he just follows you on a longer route? Just to be it sounds like he being a dick. Just because he walk, you walk into a hostel, this motherfucker's still behind him. So LeBeau is beyond.
All right.
Fuck him.
So we're going to go ahead and see what happens if we take the shorter route. Right? That's what everyone else will do?
Short route.
Yeah, the
That's
short
good.
route. Right after this quick word from our sponsors.
SexyHackers.com.
Today's episode of Turn to Page Fun is brought to you by not flying bikes, apparently, because you just get your ass killed on them. You want to die? Fly. Not flying bikes. Figure it the fuck out, science. Looking at you, Kepler.
SexyHackers.com.
That's some crushing 1992 disappointment right there. Damn.
Still brought to you.
You took that shit to heart.
And we are back to Turn to Page Fun. Currently, we are reading Edward Packard's Superbike. We received a Superbike from a scientist, and it's so good that we think that an adolescent child who's never competitively biked before, deserves to win the Tour of America. So we're
he did.
cheating our way through this Tour of America
Oh, we won the
on the Superbike. But Pierre LeBeau is an actual experienced bicyclist.
And not too much of a French sounding name.
No.
Not French at all.
And he's
good,
better at actually being a bicyclist than we are, and so he is traveling in our wind shadow.
Wind shadow,
Leaping and up and on a wind shadow. A song
dude,
that's
you got a good voice. I suck.
So on the wind shadow, and so we're trying to shake him. We had an opportunity to shake him, but we figured it was just too risky. So we're now going to take a short way along one of the mandatory bike routes during this race. You decide that taking the longer northern route doesn't make sense. If it turned out to be a rough road, all the best bikers could pass you before you make it to the other end.
Don't even know? Why is it an option then?
You're better off following the shorter route and trying to figure out another way to shake LeBeau before you reach the Rockies. You come to the fork about a half hour after getting underway the next day, and you veer to the south as you planned. Pierre hangs right on your tail.
That fucker.
He's so strong and skillful that there seems to be no way of shaking him.
Okay, let's talk about strong and skillful. He said that like 5 fucking times already, and it's the exact same
Get
thing.
some other word choice.
He's stronger and more skillful than you. So this cheating is completely justified, Joe. Completely.
Yeah.
You outstrength.
You shouldn't even be in the race, though.
Yeah.
Really? And you stole 10K from somebody that deserved it.
Yes, you did.
Cheating fuck.
I mean, Jose and whatever his name was, they needed that to...
At least they found love.
Yeah,
Jose.
exactly. Would have been nice, maybe a little money for the wedding. Oh, wait, 1992.
bro.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, they could invest that and have a lot of money for the wedding.
There you go, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Shortly,
Because they're going to absolutely make money.
shortly before noon, it begins to drizzle. You can see a line of dark clouds gathering in the horizon ahead of you. It looks as if you'll be caught in the downpour. Even a little rain makes the road slick. You have to slow down, and of course, Pierre slows too. Then you think of a scheme to shake him.
Yeah,
There he goes. Yeah.
Get struck by lightning.
Reach into your backpack and pull out that
Lightning.
Glock.
You dick. Okay. You stop your bike. Pierre stops right behind you. You reach into your backpack and pull out your rain slicker.
Shit,
Gun.
slicker.
How long do you think this will last? You ask Pierre. Don't know. It's one of those things we have to put up with in our sport. As he says this, he's pulling out his own rain slicker.
Go.
You nod and pretend to be slipping yours on. Actually, you keep from pulling your arms through the sleeves. All the while, you keep an eye on Pierre.
You cheating.
When he gets his hands about halfway through his sleeves, you hop on your bike and push off. You pedal as hard as you can, upshifting smoothly, even though you're holding on your bunched up rain slicker against the handlebars.
Oh, I thought you were going to like throw it in his face. Like,
So did I.
I thought he was
Yeah.
gonna strangle him with it.
gets caught in your spokes.
It takes a couple of seconds for Pierre to get his arms free. That's all the time you need to pull away from him.
Oh, zut alors.
He comes after you, but he's too far back to get into your wind shadow.
Merde.
You pedal even harder, going as fast as you dare on the slippery road. The rain starts coming down in earnest. You look back and see that Pierre is 30 yards behind you. He's pressing you, but not making an all-out effort to catch up. You figure he's playing it safe, maybe hoping you'll skid. There's a pit stop ahead, a McDonald's that's decked out with welcome signs for the bike racers. It would be a good place to wait out the rain, but you decide not to stop until you've built up a bigger lead. After you pass the McDonald's...
Was this sponsored by McDonald's?
Superbike, sponsored by McDonald's.
Back then, they haven't even crossed over into the billions served. They're
Yeah.
still at some hundreds of millions.
After you pass the McDonald's, you look back and see Pierre turning in there.
I cannot resist. Burger du fromage is my weakness.
I love the fries. I do not know what they do with them.
A Royale with cheese.
Now you can slow down a little, but you don't feel much happier.
No.
You're chilled to the bone, and you can hardly see through the rain.
Barely.
About an hour later, the sun comes out. You're completely soaked since you never did get your slicker on. So you stop to change your shirt. Soon you're back on the road again, cruising at 40 miles per hour. You're in first place, and you aim to stay that way, all the way to Aspen.
When you look over your shoulder, you see a leering and dry Pierre.
Turns out your meal won't be so happy, my friend.
After you cross the Mississippi River, you continue on across the Great Plains.
Bridges, I guess.
3 days travel brings you to a hostel at the Colorado border.
What'd you do for the other 2 days?
I don't know, just
McDonald's?
Yeah.
Wendy's?
Because he didn't stop at McDonald's.
Jack in the
All right.
Box at this point, maybe?
Yeah, kind of far west.
You flop into bed and fall instantly asleep. You're tired from the many days of hard biking, but you feel that you're in really good shape. You know you can't climb mountains as fast as Pierre LeBeau, even on a superbike.
He must have stayed up all night coming up with these names.
But you figure you have a big enough lead to win the race, assuming there are no unexpected difficulties. Late the next afternoon, you see the hazy outlines of the Rockies. The highest peaks are covered with snow. The closer you get...
Your phone alarm goes off.
The phone alarm goes off. Closer you get, the taller the mountains appear to be. They look impossible to scale. That night, you stay at a hostel a few miles west of Denver, at the foot of the mountains. You eat a nourishing dinner and go to bed early. You know that the next day will be the hardest biking of your life.
You wake up and Pierre stares into your eyes.
You hear a tentative knock at your door. It is I, not the room service.
Now,
Before
Fritz, German man, catches up to you.
And Steve American is in the next room.
Before you go to sleep, you catch the late sports news on TV and discover that everyone is talking about you. You're 100 miles ahead of Pierre LeBeau, and the next biker is 40 miles behind him. A lot of racers haven't even reached Colorado yet. You couldn't be happier. Then the announcer says that some experts believe that you aren't riding an ordinary bike.
Yeah, really?
Uh-oh, the jig's up, buddy.
You hear that this 10-year-old child, or however old you are, is beating
Your parents haven't wondered where you are at all.
They discovered that
Oh,
your
honey!
parents...
Hey, look! Our kid's on TV.
That's not our kid.
No, he's on TV. He's riding a bike.
back.
No, he's like 100 miles ahead of Pierre.
out back.
Oh, I swear he's on TV.
No, he doesn't even have a bike.
Dr. Kepler's like, yes, my robot double of your child is working perfectly.
Yeah.
There's a shitty robot of you picking up leaves.
More macaroni and cheese, please. Thank you, mother.
Yeah, they're going beep boop, beep boop. But he's just saying it. Beep boop, beep boop.
That's right. Beep, boop,
I am
beep,
not
boop,
a
son.
robot. Beep boop, son. Yes, we do love you.
Child, there he is right there.
That Edith Bunker sorta.
Jeez.
All right. Go on.
Then the announcer says that some experts believe you aren't riding an ordinary bike. There's something about it that's very special, he says. It's a real superbike. How else could an unknown racer be almost 100 miles ahead of Pierre LeBeau?
Who is also a fucking child.
One thing's for sure. Win or lose, a lot of people will want to take a closer look at that bike.
Back to you.
Don't you say the end, goddamn it. Don't.
No, we still got these mountains.
Bad
You got
reader.
a lot of fucking book here.
Oh.
The announcer's words make you a little nervous. There might be some people who would like to look at your bike whom you wouldn't want to meet. The next morning, you leave at sunup and start your ascent. You're in terrific shape, and you make steady progress up the steep, winding road. After a few hours, however, you begin to run out of steam. You're exhausted when you reach the diner at the top of the pass. The altitude marker says 11,972 feet.
2 miles.
It is. No wonder you're tired. There's a lot less oxygen up here than there is at sea level.
But it makes you lighter on your bike, as we found out.
Oh, that's true.
75
Maybe.
square inches of pubic.
Pubic inches. Yeah, what's the pubic inch rating up here?
You need to take a break. You turn into the parking lot, lock up your bike, and head for the door. Just as you reach it, a heavyset man wearing a lumber jacket comes out. Another man who is slimmer but very muscular is right behind him. Yeah. You step aside to let them pass.
That's lumberjack in jail.
But the first one stops you and flashes the handgun he has hidden under his jacket.
Oh, snap. This got good.
Very softly, he says, "Unlock the bike."
Yes, sir, Mr. Eastwood.
You have no choice but to obey.
Get the hell
The
off
men
my
order
lawn.
you to load the bike into a van. They shove you in through the back door and lock
Oh,
it.
no.
What?
Then they get in front and drive off.
Oh, sure, big
Why is
fat
he
person.
backloading this?
You are-
Doesn't he know I need to do a podcast on this book? All right.
You are immediately disqualified from the race for cheating in a van.
It all happened so fast.
In a van.
Yeah,
Not a-
well,
You can hardly believe it. You are on your way to victory. And now you're out of the race and your life is in danger. The van wheels around in a U-turn and heads down the mountain toward Denver. You look out the tiny window at the back of the mountain you just climbed. All that effort, wasted.
the bike's one headlight turns on and glows red. You are in danger. Bike rider. That's right, Michael.
Okay. About halfway down the mountain, you see a lone figure biking steadily uphill. It's Pierre LeBeau.
Son of a bitch.
In another hour and a half, he'll reach the pass.
Hit him.
From then on, he'll be traveling faster than ever. There's nothing you can do about it. You're out of the race. And you've got more serious problems on your mind right now than
And
cycling.
you're living in a van down by the river.
The van has reached the foot of the mountain, but instead of continuing east toward Denver, it turns south toward Colorado Springs. You try to think of a way to escape, but it seems pretty hopeless as long as you're locked in and guarded by 2 armed men. As you're thinking this, a siren sounds behind you.
Yeah, no shit.
2 police cars are bearing down on the van.
We left here about an hour ago.
The van swerves, then brakes to a stop. You lie on the floor in case any shots are fired.
Oh, my God.
You hear the amplified voice of the cops ordering the criminals out of the van. A minute later, an officer unlocks the back of the van and lets you out. You glance over and see the 2 criminals bent over a squad car.
Getting Roger.
One officer is guarding them with a shotgun while the other frisks them for weapons. Thanks,
Which they have.
you say to the cop who let you out. Sure glad we were tipped off to this, he says. Those guys will be out of commission for a long time. But it's a shame you got taken out of the race.
Also, why they should have not taken you. Just take the damn bike.
Yeah.
No one's gonna.
By now, you're pulling your bike out of the van. You look it over to make sure it's not damaged. The officer you've been talking to takes a look at it too. So that's the Superbike, he says. I've heard about it on TV. They said it's a sure winner. Not anymore, you say. Pierre LeBeau is way ahead of me now.
And I can't even cheat. Harumph.
Look, the officer says, we know you got as far as Loveland Pass before those guys grabbed you. It wouldn't be cheating if we gave you a ride back there.
Oh, fuck me.
Then you might still have a chance.
Yeah, cool.
Gee, thanks, you say. But I'm worried about Rule 4. It states, any contestants whose bike is transported by any means over any part of the course will be disqualified.
You worried about
Does it
that?
cover
Not that
kidnapping?
cheating-ass magnet.
Yeah.
Cover kidnapping by anyone?
There will be no exceptions to this rule. Wow. I'd hope that they made an exception this time.
The Superbike exception.
Since you got kidnapped, he says.
What?
You hope so too, but you're still not sure. The judges would have to have a meeting in order to decide, and you don't have time to wait for that.
And only $10,000 to bribe them.
If you decide to accept the ride, turn to page 48. If you decide to ride and try to catch up from where you are, turn to page 98.
Suddenly we're opposed to cheating.
Yeah.
This is the moral high ground. This is the mountain he chose to die on. This
Do
is
they think, well, maybe now Pierre seems like, I don't know. Do you think Pierre's like, what? He was kidnapped? Then I will wait here.
and get in his wind shadow.
I will win honestly or not at all.
I have a stout moral compass.
We got to make a choice here. I got a feeling this is going to be like our final choice.
Yes.
Victory
Yes, it
or
is.
defeat. What's it going to be?
At
How
some
far?
point.
I mean, we probably couldn't beat him.
Not fair.
But would it be? Yeah, it wouldn't be fair, would it?
But he's got a Superbike, and that's not fair either.
Yeah,
No, it's
true.
never been
You
fair.
in for
So
a
at this
penny,
point,
you
we
in
should
for
just
a pound.
go with it.
Cheat.
Let's just do this kidnapping
cheat.
exception. I like how they tried to steal the bike. We've got to figure out how a vehicle could travel more than 60 miles an hour.
with me on it.
Yeah. Yeah, we're cheating.
Okay, all right. We're gonna go ahead and cheat, and we're
right.
gonna see what happens when we cheat. Well, right now, I think
Yeah,
we
let's just
have
go
some
for
time.
it.
Let's just power through. First off, but I need to talk about this picture of you on the Superbike because so something obviously good happens, but so the way that the artist has decided to picture the air magnet on the Superbike is like it's a cone that looks like a rocket that kind of like stretches out from the handlebar. And so we have a picture of you rolling in to a finish line, all happy. So your hands are in the air. You got a big smile on your face, but then you have like this rod sticking out right from your groin over the bar.
Ride hard. Ride hard.
Which would be like right here when they have the
Yeah.
graphics.
Yeah.
It'd be in this area right.
How many pounds per pubic inch is that
All right, okay. So decided to cheat. Okay, thanks. I'll take you up on that ride, you say. The officers drive you up the mountain and let you off at the diner at Loveland Pass, where you got kidnapped. You go into the diner to get something to eat. Just as you sit down, you see a familiar face at the checkout counter. It's Pierre LeBeau. He waves at you as he leaves the diner.
So long, sucker.
You watch through the window as he gets on his bike and pushes off. You gulp down your meal and take off after him. The final stretch of the race has some flat areas, but most of it's long grades up or downhill. Some of them are very steep, and you know that they're the ones LeBeau likes best. But you've learned a lot about biking during the course of the race, and you're in even better shape than you realized. On the first straightaway, you pass LeBeau.
Conveniently?
He tries to get into your wind shadow, but you manage to foil his attempt with an all-out burst of speed. LeBeau is never far behind throughout the final stretch. He gains going up the steep slopes, but he can't quite catch you. The sun is dropping behind the ridges to the west when you finally cross the finish line. First, reporters and photographers throng around you. A cheer goes up from the crowd. You got a big boner on your bike.
The victory
I can
boner.
clearly see you're happy about
Big
this victory.
boner.
Le boner.
Le boner. However, your elation is short-lived. An official tells you that the judges are arguing with each other about whether you should be disqualified for getting a ride in the police van.
Shot rings out. The judge goes down.
20 minutes later, Pierre Lebeau crosses the line. He spots you and comes over. Great race, he says. You're a real champion. You
mocking.
rode a great race too, you say. And you may be the one who's declared champion. You explain what happened. They want to disqualify you because you got a ride in the police car? But it was only over ground you already covered under your own power. I know, but just then, an official comes over. He puts his hand on your shoulder, but his eyes are on LeBeau.
Hey, kid, we're going to need that 10 G's back.
The judges have decided that the winner will be the superbiker here, Pierre. Unless you protest under Rule 4. I'm not going to protest, LeBeau says.
Oh, he's good.
He holds his hand out to you. My superbiker friend here won fair and square.
Nope.
No,
you didn't.
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
You did
He
not.
really did not.
You totally
He was
did
cheating
not
through
win fair and
physics.
square.
The next minute, a gold medal is being pinned on you.
A shot rings out.
A gold medal splits and your chest flies open in a rosette of blood.
Ooh.
You're practically being dragged in front of the TV cameras. Here's the championship biker, someone says.
It's a kid!
What? No, he's in the backyard.
That's
Oh,
him!
jeez, he's in the back raking leaves.
Yeah,
I forgot!
he's in the backyard sparking or something. I don't know. It's weird.
That's the robot! I know the difference now!
Finish this damn book.
Getting sleepy and slappy and shit.
Thanks, you say. Then you point to LeBeau. And here's a championship guy. The
He did it to me again, you motherfucker!
Doesn't even feel good to win because you
Damn,
cheated.
Edward,
he knows he cheated.
he know he cheated.
He would have been like,
cheated.
but I couldn't have won without this air magnet that reduces air resistance. Pierre's like, wait, what the fuck?
Wait, what the fuck?
No.
Protest rule 7.
What's up? Oh, you fucking cheated.
Oh,
He
man.
invested me again, air magnet.
Damn you, Aaron Kepler. He wanted to be a bicycle racer, too.
But he couldn't.
Well, that was Superbike.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
That sure
Written
was.
by Edward Packard. That was one of many of 12 endings that could possibly happen, but there are many, many more endings. So I suggest that you go to your local library or find it otherwise and read it yourself.
Yeah.
There's still plenty of book left, and it's a lot of book. It goes for a minute. But before we leave you, let's just go real quick. And get our final thoughts on this book.
I'm afraid to ask what the scale for this will be.
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Stacy, on a scale of 1 to 9 pubic inches.
Pressure's on.
Pressure's on.
But 1 to 9, I would give this book about 4 pubic inches. I actually feel like, okay, so this is number what, 124 in the
Yes,
series?
this is 124 in the series.
He was getting lazy.
Yeah.
There were so many times we could have had a choice that he didn't give us a choice in this one.
There
Like,
were.
it would go
There
for page
really
and page. But we could have had a choice in the first page you didn't.
You're right. Right. Correct.
So because of the lack of potential choices, I will give it only 4 cubic inches per
Square
per
inch.
pounds, whatever it is.
Yeah. All right. Brian, on a...
You're going to have to specify.
I'm sorry. Brian Bear.
Thank you.
Mr. Brian Bear, on a scale of cheating to not, where would you rate this book?
I'm going to say kind of cheating. Yeah, but closer to cheating because A, you were. And B, I just... I can't get over that they gave you one option for a flying bike and it immediately kills you, and that's gonna dock it permanently in my book or his book. So I say that's like a 5 out of 10, halfway.
All right.
Didn't quite reach the finish line fairly.
Okay. And finally, Brian Green, on a scale of $1 to $300 found in a movie theater after Jurassic Park, what would you give this book?
I give this book, I'm going to say 8 pubic inches.
We're still on that scale the whole time.
I'm a dude, and it's only going to really be 4. So, yeah, you get 8 pubic inches from me. Let me tell it.
I'm with you. So we're basically saying that this promises a lot more than it delivers.
Oh, every turn, at every possible. He did that on. That had to have a purpose behind it.
So the movie version of this would be outright awful.
God! Yes, I'm going there.
Here's the Jurassic Park conversion scale.
I'm going to that movie dressed as a clown, and nothing good is going to happen once I get in.
That's Stephen King.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. Plugs. Anybody have plugs? It's almost March.
Almost.
Anybody have anything going on in March?
Yeah, I'll be doing stand up at a place at Laughing Liberally down at 420 South 1st Street, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Also home of Comedy Sports. Well, I will be and have been for these nigh on to 8 pubic inches.
Can I ask about it, Plug? What's this escape room thing?
Escape? Oh, it's an escape room.
Okay. Check it out, I guess.
Yeah,
I might check
I'm
it
not
out.
a feature there. I'm just an employee.
Okay.
You get there and you might get me to run your room.
Oh,
That sounds cool, though.
Yeah.
Do you
It's fun to do.
Are you really harsh with the people if they're stupid?
They don't know it.
Okay.
Ooh. Yeah, I was gentle to this book. Trust me.
Brian, anything going on with Brian Bayer? Anything going on with you?
Yeah, I think coming up in March, right around I think it's the weekend before the 17th this year, will be St. Patrick's Day celebrations. And therefore, you're probably going to get to see Uncle Fergus Magic Whiskey Band.
Uncle Fergus Magic Whiskey Band. What is it?
That's right. It's a party band that Nick and I and Harry LB and Amanda Washkin are all in. We play pop songs as if they were Irish drinking songs, just as God has intended.
Yes.
Irish jigs, ballads, and reels. Yeah, we're going to be playing some places, probably multiple shows if I start booking them now, which I should.
Right.
But yeah, that'll be weekend before St. Patrick's Day, which is on a Tuesday.
Don't worry, stay tuned because we will contact you directly.
Yeah, again. Or just you can check out Uncle Fergus Magic Whiskey Band on the Facebook.
Yes.
And someone will have updated our page.
UFMWB, as we call it in the business.
That's right. And yes, we'll see you there. Maybe.
Thank you so much to Sexy Hackers. You can find us here on sexyhackers.tv.com. We drop a new episode every Monday. Please like, subscribe, follow, all those cool things to boost our signal. I hope you had fun, and I want you to share this with other people.
Yeah.
Because it makes it worth our while to do that.
Tell a friend.
Tell a friend. Tell more friends. Tell them about your Superbike.
Tell enemies.
Yeah, tell your
Enemies. Exactly. Thank you. You can also hear No Dice. Well, not here, but watch No Dice on every Monday at 7:30 at sexyhackers.tv.twitch.
Well, you can also watch it afterward on YouTube.
On
as well.
YouTube or at sexyhackers.tv.com for all of your Sexy Hackers shows and needs. That includes Turn to Page Fun, our show, All Arcadians, and Who Let Me Read This. Also, when you're on Sexy Hackers, go ahead and buy a t-shirt. They're oh so comfortable and efficacious. They really actually are. They're comfortable. They don't shrink up. They have really, really cool prints on them. I'm wearing a print of a chibi of one of my own characters.
They effecate like a motherfucker.
They effecate like a motherfucker.
They do indeed.
So if you go on sexyhackers.com to purchase any of their fine attire, go ahead and type in promo code FUN, F-U-N, and get 20% off.
In case you can't spell fun yourself.
And don't just put FU, that's a different code.
That's a different secret
the first
code
part of
where they
Fergus.
charge you more.
Can't spell fun without FU.
Thank you so much to Jason for doing all of our audio engineering and sticking with us through this whole recording session. And most importantly and lastly, thank you for being you, listening to us read to you. And with that, I'll see you next week through your ears.
SexyHackers.com Stream Team.